Wherever you are, clear a spot for yourself. We'll start today's practice standing, and then I'm going to recommend that we don't need all of these props, but that you have for today's practice or tonight's practice a blanket or a bath towel, and then a strap. Strap can be a dog leash, strap can be a winter scarf, a strap can be a robe tie, and then we'll set these aside. Just making it super accessible, knowing that none of these things are required for tonight's practice, and if you don't have them, don't stress out about it. Awesome. I don't normally start practices standing, but I feel like there's something about today where the world is at, and maybe wherever you are is seated. That's beautiful too, right? I say standing, and I need to roll that back, because the important thing is that you are honoring exactly where your body is at. And if the body is asking for rest and you are standing when it says don't stand, let tonight honor you all the way. Nobody knows what you need like you know what you need. Trust yourself tonight. And you're welcome to second guess yourself, but don't let anyone else. Not tonight, not for our practice. Know that your body is beautiful and sacred. Your experience is real and valid, and you can choose to not do or do anything tonight, as much or as little as you want, and know that it's beautiful and right and exactly what this night is supposed to bring, or this day, wherever you are. Last night was the full moon. And let me tell you, it was a beautiful day for me, but today has been difficult. And that's why I'm starting this practice in a posture of power. And maybe you're seated, sitting up tall. Maybe you're standing. Wherever you are, notice the pads of your feet, the bottoms of your feet. Let your awareness travel down into the sensation you feel there. And it can help to soften your gaze or close your eyes. And when I say soften your gaze, you know how sometimes your mind goes elsewhere and you forget what you're looking at, but your eyes are open? That's what I mean by a softening of the gaze. And it's because your mind's awareness isn't on the past or the future. Your mind's awareness has traveled down into the pads of your feet, and you're just feeling the pressure, the weight of your body, seated or standing, exactly where you are. Notice how that pressure feels. Is it gentle? Is it achy? Simply notice sensation. And for tonight's practice, you're here not to judge, to decide whether or not what you're feeling or doing is right, not right, good enough, not good enough. Tonight, you're just here to be in the present moment, exactly where you are, doing exactly what you're doing. Notice how it calms the nervous system to bring your awareness deep into the physical body. Simply noticing the weight of your body pressing down into whatever is supporting it right now. Dang, I am always so impressed that our yoga practice can be so complex just standing here in stillness. Like what? From here, notice your natural breath in your body, your inhales, your exhales. Without trying to change them, simply breathe. Noticing the body breathing all on its own. Effortlessly, in and out. No need to control it, no need to change it. Notice where you feel your breath in your physical body. What stretches or rises as you inhale? Maybe it's the heart and the chest. Maybe it's the belly. Maybe you feel your shoulders rise or your throat tense as you inhale. There's no right or wrong answer. We're simply here to observe and witness the breath in our bodies. And then when you're ready, deepen the breath. Send your breath into the depths of your belly. Fill the body all the way up. Belly, lungs, wide, stretching, and then exhale, release the breath. Let the shoulders melt away from the ears. Inhale again, fill the body all the way up, feeling it stretch and pull as you do, and then exhale. Let the breath out, let it linger long as it escapes the body. Finding these big body breaths, filling yourself to the depths of your belly, the lungs all the way, before letting it go nice and slow. Continuing, noticing how these deep inhales feel, the stretching of the muscles in the belly and the chest. Maybe it inspires a little cough to breathe this deep. Just let it. So often we never use the lower third lobe of our right lung. The left lung has 2, but the right has 3. And taking these deep, deep breaths, practicing filling all the way up, allows us to access the depth of our body's ability to draw in oxygen, to let it pour into the blood, to be dispersed throughout the body. Noticing also as we extend the exhales, this is a natural and gentle way to stimulate the vagal brake, which is a bundle of nerves that runs from the base of the skull all the way down the front of the throat, branches out at the heart, and controls your heart rate. Notice those long exhales, slowing the heart rate further and further. You might notice the body grows heavy as we breathe here. We'll warm up the cervical vertebra, the neck, by imagining there's a pencil sticking out the top of our head, graphite side up. Draw little circles on the ceiling, nice and slow, the size of a baseball or a tea saucer at first. These little tiny circles, bringing ease to the face as you do, relaxing through the jaw, letting the tongue float effortlessly in your mouth. Let the circles be slow. Imagine you flow smooth like water, slowly round and round. And then you might let these circles start to grow. Each circle a little larger than the last. Noticing how the weight of the head shifts as you make these circles, noticing as you draw them bigger and bigger, how the sensation along the side of the neck increases. And then maybe you find a circle that's just large enough, knowing you can go all the way, weighting the full weight of your head, but there's no need to. We hang out where it feels good, where it draws gentle sensation. Feel the neck give way. Feel it stretch round and round, releasing gently here. You might check in with the breath and invite it once more down into the belly. Exhaling, releasing all effort, letting the belly melt here. Let your head roll to a gentle stop and then switch directions, finding these big, slow circles, melting the face, the throat, letting your awareness settle on the sensation of the neck, how the stretch travels round as the weight of the head shifts round. Your whole job here to breathe, to notice whatever you feel, and to simply let it be. We don't have to even identify it if we don't want to. We can choose to just experience it. Now you might let your circles begin to shrink, one after the other, each a little smaller than the one before. Smaller and smaller, you're in no rush. They shrink in size until your head is stacked over your shoulders in stillness here. Beautiful, note sensation, maybe floaty. Maybe you're noticing an ache in the legs or the low back because you're tired of standing or sitting in stillness. Let it be real, acknowledge what it is, and then let's find some movement that relieves some of that. On an inhale, sweep the arms up, press to the fingertips, pressing the hands all the way up towards the sky, gaze following the fingertips as you exhale, palms come together towards the heart center. Inhale, sweeping the arms out, really pressing. Exhale, palms towards the heart center. Once more, inhale, sweep the arms up, and then interlace the fingers in temple mudra. So we interlace our fingers and then we leave the pointer fingers out like a little temple in temple mudra. The beautiful thing about temple mudra is that for me, it's such a beautiful reminder to grow long through the body. So on an inhale, you might draw up length through the body, send it all the way through the pointer fingers. Exhale. Release any effort in the belly. You might let the shoulders melt down for a moment. Inhale. Send energy up through the legs, through the spine, out the top of the head, through those fingers pointed towards the ceiling. Exhale. Release effort. Beautiful. Once more, inhale. Rise up tall. Send that energy up through the finger. And then as you exhale, you're going to lean towards the left or right, whatever you see here. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lean towards the left. Bring the length with you. Press through those pointer fingers. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lean. Taking the length, pressing through the pointer fingers, and then down to the pads of the feet as you do. Inhale, rise nice and slow. Growing long, exhale, pressing down to the pads of the feet or the sits bones if you're sitting, leaning towards the opposite side. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release the hands. Let them fall by your side. Let's shake the arms out. I have a connective tissue disorder, and so my shoulders are the most sensitive part of my body, especially because I sleep like this with dinosaur arms all curled up. And so I experience a lot of tenderness and pain through the shoulders. And I just want to say that if you experience any sensitivity in your joints, as we move through these practices, honor the joints, right? There is nothing wrong with your body being exactly where it is. It's beautiful. And even as a teacher, I'm going to continue doing those things. And so I hope that that's always your first instinct, is to know I have permission. And you don't need it from me, you need it from you. So give yourself permission, go easy, Release, love, feel sensation, do or don't do, and know there is value equally in both. All right. From here, we might find a forward fold. And because I have a belly, and you might have one too, I'm going to show this from the side. Normally, forward folds are done with big toes together or feet hip distance apart. But I like to keep my feet even wider than that. And I'll pull my belly out of my pants here for just a moment so that you can see. This is a beautiful opportunity to do this in front of a couch, a bed, near a wall. You might use blocks. Just something to catch on the way down and bring a little ease into the fold so that we can focus on other sensations in the body as we make these shapes, whatever they present as in our physical forms. So from here, making room for the belly, you might leave the feet a little wider than you would normally. And then take a gentle bend in the knees, find a little bounce. Feel the weight in the pads of the feet increase and decrease as you bounce up and down gently in the knees. And then settle into stillness here, but keep the knees soft. We don't want to lock them, right? When it comes to EDS, connective tissue disorders, being hypermobile is a thing. So we look out for it by stabilizing the joint, by choosing not to take it to our full range of flexibility, because that's not where our strength lies. And then from here, again, on an inhale, we're going to draw that energy up through the feet, up through the spine, to the top of the head, growing long. And as you exhale, we hinge at the hip, keeping that length through the torso. Slowly, you might walk your hands down your body. And then as you make your way down, sometimes I like to pull my belly to the inside of my thighs here. And I might even like to, once I find my full posture here, the one that feels nice, make even more room for my belly by bending my knees, tucking it in, and then straightening them out. So maybe you're hung out in this forward fold against the wall, over the bed, maybe your shins, or your forearms, these are forearms. I did that earlier in class today. Your forearms resting on a couch or an ottoman here. Bring some ease to the body. And then from wherever you are, release effort through the neck. Let the head grow heavy. You might give it a gentle shake just to ensure you're not keeping any effort there. Release any effort in the lips, in the cheeks, in the jaw, the tongue. You might find again that gentle bend in the knees. Bring ease, bring ease. And then from here, let's make our way down into tabletop. So finding ourselves on our hands and knees. And we won't spend a ton of time here. We want to honor the wrists, but know that anything that you can do here can also be done on your forearms against the couch, protecting the parts of our body that are asking to be protected. You could do this in your bed, on your hands and knees. There are no rules, right? This is virtual. We do what we want. You can do it naked. But from tabletop, right? Knees about hip distance apart, palms beneath the shoulders, maybe palms just in front of the shoulders if that feels good, to brace the body. Gaze down towards the floor, finding this long neutral spine here. And you might imagine in your mind's eye your breath creating length in your vertebra, length up and down your spine. Each inhale presses you long through the top of the head and down through the base of the spine, the sits bones, equal and opposite directions, even in stillness. So much to notice. And then begin to soften the effort in the belly. Whatever you're holding on in the muscles of the belly, let them go. Let the belly fall heavy. And as you do this, release effort in the pelvis, in the low spine. And once you do, you might notice your tailbone starts to arch up towards the ceiling. That's okay. Breathe deep into the low belly. Relaxing through the low belly, relaxing through the pelvis. Noticing what this does to our deep belly breaths. How does it feel here? And then when you're ready, on an inhale, draw the heart center forward. Your gaze comes up. And it's not so much that we want to gaze at the ceiling. It's that I want to press my chin forward, creating some tension along the front of the throat, from the heart center to the throat. And then let your gaze fall where it does here. This is cow. Breathe deep into the belly. Maybe you give the belly a little shake here just to make sure you're not holding any effort. So often, if you're identified female at birth, you were raised to suck it in, to be small. The unlearning is real. It can mess with motility issues, digestion, increase anxiety, decrease mobility, can increase tension in the hips, sucking our belly in all the time. On an exhale, we'll come into cat, pressing the mat away. We begin to curl the spine, this time tucking the tailbone up towards the belly button. Let the neck hang loose, let the forehead hang heavy, the top of the head hang heavy. And it's almost like there's a string attached from your forehead to your tailbone underneath the belly that kind of wants to pull tight here as you press through the hands. Press through the arms. You might notice the shoulder blades separate as you do. Notice what it feels like to breathe here, this deep, deep cat-like curl of the spine. And then on an inhale, drop the belly low. Gaze comes up, back into cow. We're going to move with the breath. Exhale, press the mat away. Just a few rounds, not a ton. Inhale, gaze comes up, heart center presses forward. Exhale, back to cat, press the mat away, curl the spine. Once more, back and forth. And then we'll press back up onto our shins. Let's shake our wrists out. Let's give them a little love. They've done a lot for us here. You might take a moment and on an inhale, roll your shoulders forward and then up towards the ears. Exhale, press them back and down. Once more, inhale forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Let's come back onto our hands and knees for a moment, or our shins. And then we're going to articulate our spine. Instead of front to back, we're going to do side to side. So on an exhale, we're going to shift our right hip towards our right shoulder. As our gaze comes over that right shoulder, we're looking back towards that hip. So it's almost like a side crunch here on the right side of the body. Gazing over the shoulder. You might draw your awareness now to the left side of the body. Feel it grow long here. Find some length on the left side of the torso. You might even send your breath there as you do this gentle side crunch. We're not exerting a ton of effort. And then on an inhale, release to neutral for a moment. Exhale, draw that hip up towards that left armpit. Gaze over that left shoulder. We're shortening through the left side of the body. We're lengthening through the right. And you might inhale, send your breath into the right side of the rib cage. Feel it expand and stretch with your inhale. And then exhale, relax into that length that you created with the breath. On your next inhale, release into stillness. Beautiful. We'll press back onto our shins and we're going to come onto our backs. So keeping your blanket and your strap handy, go ahead and make your way onto your back. Knees bent, pads of the feet planted on the earth. Ooh, I already got fuzzies all over me. Finding your way here, ooh, wherever you are, in bed, on the floor, in your garage, in your backyard like me. Let the body release into the supports beneath it. Let it connect and settle down into whatever you are lying on right now. You might let your awareness travel into the pads of your feet. Feel the weight of the pads of your feet. Notice any sensation in the toes, temperature. Maybe you can give them a little wiggle and feel texture. Simply take a moment and witness what the toes are feeling, and then let them settle into stillness, inviting your awareness now into the low back, this portion of your back resting on your mat, that gentle sensation. The work that we're going to do now is with the low back, finding these pelvic tilts just like cat-cow. We're going to bring some extra ease to them, which is actually going to focus the effort down into the iliopsoas, these muscles, and the psoas, these muscles that attach the torso to the legs. When we talk about storing trauma, when we talk about hip tightness, this is usually what we're talking about, where it all starts, the origin story. And the psoas and the iliopsoas, they're brilliant muscles. Our body is so freaking brilliant, and it responds to what we need. And when we are stressed, or when we overstretch or press ourselves beyond our physical means, our iliopsoas, it shortens and tightens to protect us, and all that effort dehydrates it. So the work that we're going to do here is just bringing some love to it. So moving through the pelvis only, right? The hips, right here, keeping everything else in gentle stillness. We'll find our cat-cow. So on an exhale, you're going to curl your tailbone up towards your belly button as you press to the pads of the feet, and then hold this for a moment. We're not lifting up our low back at all. We're just pressing into the pads of our feet enough to feel this low back curl up, the tailbone curling up towards the belly button. Let the shoulders melt. Let the face melt. Let effort in the arms melt. Maybe you bring them up overhead, letting the heart center open up a bit as you continue to gently press to the pads of the feet. Notice how the low back really is pressed into the earth here. And then on an inhale, reverse this. We're going to arch the low back, feeling the pressure move from the low back down to the sacrum, then down to the tailbone. Noticing as we keep this low back arch and press to the tailbone that you might also feel sensation, the back of your head pressing into the earth. This is a beautiful opportunity to invite your inhale deep down into the belly. Notice how the body invites the depth of the breath here, this low back arch. And then on an exhale, release all effort, let the body melt. Hang out here, no movement, just releasing and letting go. Knowing that all of this effort, all of the awareness we're cultivating, this interoception, our mind-body connection, that our body and our brain need the letting go. Our nervous system needs the letting go as much as it needs our effort moving forward. There's equal value in each. And with our full moon last night, the full moon in Libra, it's all about balance, all about acknowledging where we'd like to grow and anything that we need to let go of that is hindering us from that growth. That is what this pink full moon, hopefully I've been saying full moon, is all about. Balance, renewal, growth, and letting go of anything that no longer serves us, serves our growth. And sometimes that means letting go of this incessant need to produce, to perform, to become, and to simply settle in to what we are, the beauty of our wholeness in this moment. Again, we'll find some movement with the breath, pressing into the pads of the feet, curling the tailbone up towards the belly button, pressing down through the low back here, and then on an inhale, we reverse the motion, feeling the pressure travel from the low back down to the tailbone. Exhale, release, curl the spine, just the pelvis, excuse me. Finding this gentle movement back and forth, as much, as deep, or as gently as feels good, knowing that there is equal value in both. And then you might hang out like this, moving with the breath, but if you want to address the psoas a little deeper, you might press through the pad of this left foot and lift your left knee towards the ceiling. And we're not drawing it up into the chest so much as just raising it up gently. And then continuing these pelvic tilts. Exhale, curling this pelvis up. Inhale, tilting it away from the body. But now we've sort of added an extra element of awareness, of sensation. We'll do this for 3 or so more rounds of breath, just feeling. What effort does it take? Where is the force, the sensation building in the body as you hold this? And then on an exhale, drop the right foot down, pressing down through the pad of that right foot. You might lift the left knee, finding those gentle pelvic tilts. Knowing that your range of motion is likely drastically reduced here with this knee raised, and letting that be okay. On an inhale, drop that foot down. Let's extend the legs long. We might extend through the arms here. Notice how the low back feels. Can you release any and all effort for a moment here? Letting the fingers melt the palms of the hands, your lower arms, your upper arms, your shoulders, your heart center, your belly. Letting the hips melt and release, along with the glutes and the thighs, your calves, your ankles. Releasing through the pads of the feet and the toes. We melt here for just a moment, relishing the release, the letting go. Fighting our desire to feel like this is not productive, like it's not enough. Oh, the beauty in intentionally showing up to let go. From here, find another bend in the knees. We'll bring our arms down by our sides if they're above the head here. And then we'll take a gentle twist. So I am going to leave my pads of my feet on my mat. But you might draw your knees up in towards your chest or out towards your knees if that feels good. And take a gentle rock to the left and the right. So we're giving the low back a massage here. If the pads of your feet are planted, it might look like this. We want to make room for the breath here and make room for a playfulness and a letting go. We just roll back and forth, back and forth. Feel the pressure in the low back shift from left to right. How we get to know our body just by hanging out, by feeling it. We don't even have to love it because our whole job is to be a neutral witness, right? It's just to observe. And through that observation, you cultivate a reverence. And it's beautiful. From here, we'll find our twist. So if your knees are in towards your chest or out towards your armpits, you're going to have to bring them together. If your pads of your feet are planted, heel toe them together, and then let the knees fall towards the left or right. It doesn't even matter what direction. My microphone's excited. And then you might, like me, keep your hands on your belly, bringing ease to your shoulders. But you can tee your arms out wide if that feels good, further inviting this opening into the heart center. You honor your body today and no one else's. This practice is for you. And so our lumbar spine here, our low spine, is twisted in one direction, and we want to invite the upper portion of our spine, our cervical spine, to twist the opposite direction. So when you're ready, you might lift your head directly up and then turn your gaze the opposite direction of your knees, letting your head then rest back down onto your mat. We're effectively wringing our spine out like a rag. Now notice any parts of your body that are clenching or tensing right now. See if you can send your breath to these areas of intense sensation and invite the breath to bring a stretching and expansion. And as you exhale, a release and a melting of effort in this area of sensation. Knowing that we don't want sensation to be so intense that we're clenching, that it becomes distracting, that we're waiting for it to end or running from it. We just want to get curious and feel. Releasing the spine from this twist, gaze your face and your knees, releasing towards the ceiling. Ooh, deep, deep twist. All right. From here, heel toe the feet out wide, 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 way wider than mat distance apart. And then let the knees weight heavy in towards each other. Really pressing down gently through those inner thighs, down towards the mat. And you might notice where sensation builds in your personal body. Mine is the outsides of the hips and my low back. For you, it might be the inside of the hips. You could feel this all the way up into your shoulders and neck. Maybe you're not sure you feel it at all and you want to walk your feet out just a little wider, letting the knees fall in, coming up on the inside blade edges of the feet. And then you might remain like this, or option to reverse this motion, bring the pads of the feet together, let the knees fall out wide and heavy here. Releasing any effort through the inside of the thighs. Noticing this is a beautiful posture for sending the breath deep down into the belly. And then we'll bring the knees together. We'll either plant the pads of the feet or draw the knees up into the chest, right? Bringing the knees together wherever we are, we'll find this twist on the opposite side of the body. Placing the arms where they feel good, out wide, in close. And then before we do anything with our neck, let your awareness travel down into the low back, down into the belly here. Notice what you feel, tension, sensation. Every once in a while, I feel the vertebra in my low back pop. And then notice if you can relax through the low belly, bring ease to the low back. You might again send your breath down deep, feeling the low belly expand. And then exhale, melt all effort, let the body grow heavy. Bring a little effortlessness here. If the feet slide away from the body, let them slide, nothing's lost. And then when you're ready, if you'd like, lifting your gaze or lifting the head up off the mat, turning your gaze opposite the knees, and then resting your head back down on your mat. Can you let your tongue float in your mouth? Can you feel your lips and your cheeks melt and relax here? The shoulders releasing. Breathing deep into the body. Just a few more breaths. Making any and all adjustments that might feel good to your body. You're welcome to hang out here for as long as you like. If you like, you might roll back onto your back. And this is where we're going to grab our strap. Ooh, and mine is not close. Find your strap, find your scarf. Man, even a bath towel the long way rolled up would work. Make your way back onto your back. Finding this bend in the knees. Pulling your pants up or down, or taking them off. No one can even see, huh? And then we're again going to press into the pad of this left foot. I'm going to lift my right knee up towards the ceiling. This time I'm going to extend my leg. I'm going to find my strap, the midline of it, and wrap it around the bottom of my foot, bracing either side of the strap. Finding some ease here. Ooh, we're going to invite our hamstrings into the party, gently pulling that right thigh towards the heart center, only enough to feel sensation, maybe in the hips, low back, back of the leg. If it feels sharp or distracting, release and relax just a little bit. From here, take your strap into your right hand. Let the right leg come out or swing out gently towards the right. Ooh. Again, releasing any effort on the inside of that right thigh. And then we'll bend the knee here and we'll bring our foot in towards our heart center. Finding that external rotation in the hip. You might bring your strap or your scarf into your left hand. Use your right hand. Find the top of that inner right thigh and simply press it away from the body. So it's this external hip rotation. Gently pressing it away. And then you can make this look a whole lot like pigeon pose if you let that left leg extend long. Ooh, pigeon. Find ease here. Brace with both hands where you like. Relax through the hip flexors in the front. That left leg. We'll hang out here for a few more breaths. And then you might hang out here for just a little longer, or you might turn this into a twist. A lot of twisting by taking your strap into your left hand. I use my right arm as sort of a kickstand to press myself into a twist. Knowing this is very deep. Knowing I want to release effort in my low belly, send my breath way down into it. Relax deep to the low back. We're only taking this as far as feels good in the body. And that can be a lot of places, right? Maybe it's just a little bit to observe that sensation. And then when you're ready, roll back onto your back. Release that right leg. Find a bend in both feet, or in both legs, a bend in your feet. You can try. Pressing now to the pad of that right foot, lifting the left knee, and then extending the left leg up, wrapping the strap around your foot. Inviting the top of that left thigh towards your heart center. Again, only as far as there's sensation that maybe you can flirt with, get curious about, have dinner with tonight. We don't want the sensation to last that long. But just notice. See if you can't release any effort in the back of the left leg. Maybe through your shoulders and your jaw. Effort sneaks up on us. Taking the strap now into the left hand. I like to extend my left arm long before I brace it. You might like to keep it down here. You decide. Open that left leg out towards the left. Let go, let go, let go. The full moon we celebrate 3 days before or 3 days after. The energy is still here at a time of reflection. An opportunity has still presented itself to us, and we use it to let go. To reflect on the things that hold us back, and to slough them off, to leave them on the mat, to be absorbed into nothingness. From here, bending the knee, bringing the foot towards the heart center as much as feels good. And again, we're finding this external hip rotation. So you might take that left hand and help it out just a little bit by pressing down to the top of that left thigh and away from the body, further externally rotating that hip. And if you want to make it a full upside down pigeon, because yoga postures are just like yoga Tetris, extend that right leg long. Release through that front of that right leg, the front of that right hip, the hip flexors. The sirens are going off. I live in a very small town, and when someone calls 911 in our city, this is the alarm that goes off, so the volunteer firefighters show up. If you'd like, you can hang out, or you can turn this into the twist, using that left arm as a kickstand to help you twist through the low spine here as much or as little as feels good. And I'm not even planting my left foot on the ground. I'm just letting it float there. I'm really using the strap to brace my foot, to be kind to my spine here, to acknowledge what my body is wanting. Because when I acknowledge what it needs, when I acknowledge what my body is asking for to thrive here on the mat, it's that much easier to do it out in the world. We'll roll back onto our back, release the foot. Effort everywhere. All right. Now, hopefully you've kept that blanket or that bath towel handy. If you have, you might take it in your hands and roll it up into a log or a sausage roll, kind of like this. We'll come into a restorative bridge. For restorative bridge, keeping your blanket, your pillow, whatever you're going to put up underneath the hips handy. We'll walk our heels towards our glutes, towards our buttocks. And then you're going to shimmy your shoulder blades towards one another. And I like to use like this opportunity to really plant through the backs of my arms, right? Open up through my heart center. Feel my breath here deep into my chest as I inhale. And then as I exhale, or as you exhale, press through the pads of the feet. Lift the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the glutes. And then take your blanket, your roll, place it underneath the hips, underneath the sacrum, so that place between the low back and the tailbone, and then let your hips settle right back down onto it. You might let the knees, again, fall from side to side. Let momentum carry you. The beauty of gentle movement, so overlooked and yet so transformative to the body. Now here we're hanging out in an inversion, right? We have propped our hips up gently above our heart. And when we do this, we also find that gentle tilt in the pelvis, right? So that gentle cat-like curl of the low spine, the belly button maybe tucked up towards the tailbone here, pressing gently through the pads of the feet, finding a little effort here. You might hang out just like this, or you might draw your knees up and extend the legs towards the ceiling. And note that this blanket, this prop underneath the hips, brings so much ease, right? Where it might not be accessible to you before, rolling something up, lifting your hips up, make space for the belly. Then you just hang out and you take in all the benefits of this inversion. Maybe you point and flex your toes, little nerve floss here. Never miss out on an opportunity to floss your nerves and create space for them in the muscle and the tissue they run through. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Decompressing, bringing relief. We're also bringing ease to the heart, which now gets to use gravity to pull blood from the legs back towards the heart. Find some ankle circles here one way, and then the other. Our lymph system loves this. It doesn't have a heart to pull it from the body, to pump it round. It relies on gravity and osmosis. Hang out here for as long as you like. Take all the time in the world. And then when you are ready, find that bend in the knees again, and we'll all meet back here in restorative bridge, releasing all effort, letting the hips melt down, the body fall where it may. Option to extend the legs long here, resting the heels on the earth. This can be an intense sensation for the low back, so feel free to rest in restorative bridge. We cannot spend too much time there if this is not honoring the low back. We've done a lot of work there, and knowing that Libra rules the kidneys and the low back, this practice is so on point for the full moon. Letting go, rejuvenation and rebirth. We move forward into newness, releasing ourselves from the chains that held us down, that held us back, taking the wisdom that we gathered, the truth, the knowing that we've cultivated in this time of stillness, and letting it give birth to this time of growth. We'll meet again, the bend in the knees, back in restorative from wherever we are. And then again, walk the heels towards the glutes. Press with the pads of the feet. When you're ready, lift your hips up. Pull the blanket aside. We're going to take a happy baby. Now, happy baby can be done one side at a time. We'll do it first like that, pressing through the pad of that right foot. We're going to draw the left knee out towards the armpit. And you might grab the ankle, the shin, the knee. You might grab the outside of that foot. We're just going to pull the knee down towards the armpit, the outside of our torso, opening up through the hip here. You might take a gentle rock to the left and the right. If you want to do it, you might swing the other leg up here and give it a grab. You might grab your strap, wrap it around the foot. Use it as a brace. Be where you are and let it be beautiful, because it is. It is. And anything that has ever said otherwise has lied to you. Switch sides. If you're one-sided here like me, again, finding that rock. Breathing deep into the belly here. And then once more, notice your breath. On your next inhale, how far down into the belly can you take it? Can you let it fill you up? As you exhale, release that leg. We'll come into our final Shavasana. Final Shavasana is corpse pose. It's our letting go. The culmination of the entirety of our practice has led us to this point where we invite the mind to stillness while the body finds stillness. And it's hard. This is the hardest posture you'll do this entire class. Let the body be effortless. Maybe you're sprawled out wide. Maybe you're snuggled up in bed. Wherever you are, bring ease to your physical body. Explore anywhere you might be secretly holding in effort, either known or unbeknownst to you. The body tends to habitually hold. And through these practices, we retrain it to release. Let any effort in the legs melt away, the hips, each butt cheek. Let it go, let it melt, along with the belly and the back. Your spine settling gently into the earth beneath it. The shoulder blades releasing down along with the shoulders and the upper arms. The lower arms, the palms of your hands, all the way down to the fingertips. Becoming aware now of the front of the throat, releasing, relaxing. All the way up into the jaw and the tongue, the cheeks and the lips. Relaxing your nose and your forehead, even your scalp. We'll stay here for a few more minutes and know that thoughts are going to creep up. You'll get caught thinking about the past or the future or judging, and it's okay. It's just the mind doing what it's been trained to do. And now we gently and lovingly train it towards stillness by inviting it again and again into that place of stillness, to become gently aware of the breath in the body, to become aware of the sensation that the inhale brings, the coolness of the air traveling down into the lungs, stretching the lungs and the belly, and then as you exhale, the breath transforms, warm, releasing, relaxing. Noticing the breath anytime the mind starts to wander. Stay here for as long as you like. You might begin to deepen your breath, feeling the stretch of that inhale, the release of the exhale. Let it begin to wake up the body, inviting movement now, maybe into the fingers and the toes, the wrists and the ankles. And I'm going to invite you to maybe try some pandiculation. And in somatics, pandiculation is what we do when we wake up in the morning and we yawn and stretch, twist and move, stretching and pulling and feeling the body. Releases so much dopamine. It increases interoception, proprioception. Ooh. Builds stability in our joints. Pandiculation is lit. When you've pandiculated or awakened your body enough, you might find a bend in the knees and then roll over onto the side body, resting the head somewhere easy, maybe on a blanket or your upper arm. Our practice comes to a close, but our life does not. And everything that we do here is to prepare us to live it in the real world. We've curated this specific environment so that we can go out and find our breath, be in our bodies, still our minds, release ourselves from judgment and become witness to our own experience. Let the practice settle into you now. All the work you've done, let it permeate every cell of your body. You've done some incredible things. When you're ready, you might stay exactly where you are, cozy and comfy, or you might press yourself up into a seated posture. There's no right or wrong. There just is, and we love it. From here, wherever you are, take a moment to close your eyes or soften your gaze. You might bring the palms together towards the heart center in Anjali Mudra. That feels good, grounding, nurturing. I like to, on an exhale, take a gentle bow in my head, just to show reverence for this time. What we do here is deep. It's intimate. It's not easy. So we end practice the same way each time, by showing ourselves gratitude for doing it in the first place, for showing up, for doing what's scary when everything said, you don't have time, you don't feel good enough, you don't deserve it. And letting go of the lies, choosing to show up fully for yourself in neutrality or deep love, both equally valuable. Thank you for practicing with me tonight. Take care of yourselves this evening.